Well, we've seen that our guessing game does work. It gives us a random number between 1 and 100. In this case, mine gave me 99, and we were able to run that in a console or command line terminal window right here in Eclipse. This is a regular command line game, but it works for one round. What if we want to do lots of rounds? If we want to keep playing and guessing new numbers each time? Well, to do that, we're going to have to change our program just a bit. So let's come back to our high-low game. And really what I would like to do is, after this game is over, and our game loop ended right here, so I'm just going to do a little comment to myself here. End of while loop for guessing. I would really like to do all of these steps that you see on the screen here over again if we wanted to play a second time. I'd want to create a new random number. I'd want to let the user guess and keep guessing too high or too low until they guess correctly. So what I'm going to do is highlight all of this, and I'm going to tab it over. We use tab spacing here in our editor in Java just to help us group things together. Everything that's inside this while loop, notice we tabbed over, and everything that goes with this if statement we tabbed over. It's not a part of the language, it's just a practice that we use as Java programmers to keep things together so that we can see them grouped really easily. So I can see my while loop starts and ends here. If I click on either of these curly braces, it'll highlight the other one to tell me where this block of code or this set of statements begins and ends. But I want to do all of this over and over again until the user decides to stop. So what I'd like to do is after the while loop, after the user has guessed correctly, I'd like to ask them if they'd like to play again. And I can do this with a do loop. A do while will give us the ability to keep playing. We call this a game loop sometimes. We can do a play again every time we finish that one round through the game. So I'm going to first tab this whole section over so that I can come down below my scanner and set up a game loop. And that game loop I'm going to choose to do a do loop, do, and I give it an open curly brace. And that will group all of this code together. After my while loop is over, I'm going to close the curly brace for the do loop, and I'm going to say to keep doing this while play again is yes. Well, to do that, I need to create a variable for my play again. So I'm going to come up right before my do, and I'm going to create one more variable. I'll say string, because I'm going to ask the user to input the word yes or the character Y. So I'll create a string variable this time. And I'll use my camel case. Remember, we can't use spaces in variable names, but we can start new words with a capital letter. And we'll start this out as an empty string. An empty string, we just give a pair of double quotes. So double quote gives me a string called play again. Because right now we don't know if the user wants to play more than one time. Now that we have a variable that we've created called play again, we can then ask the player if they want to play again. After our while loop, we're going to ask the user to play again. By typing a Y or yes. Play again. And we'll do that with a system.out.println. We'll output a line that tells the user what we're looking for. And we'll say, would you like to play again? And we ask them for a Y or an N. We'll only check for the Y, actually. That looks pretty good. Maybe we'll ask a question mark at the end. So we've output, would you like to play again? We need to get that response from the user. So here we can use our play again variable that we created right up here. So we'll set our string play again. And the first time we used play again, we were declaring it as a string. So we set up a variable called play again of type string. Now we're going to use it so we don't have to use the type string again. We just say play again equals, and we'll go back to our keyboard scanner, scan dot, and instead of a next integer, we'll just take the next token or the next word that they type in. Scan dot next. Good? And now we can fill in the rest of our do statement. So this is the end of our do loop. We can keep those lined up by just scrolling up and down here. We can see that when we're at this curly brace, the first curly brace lights up. If we're at this one, and we highlight it, the last one lights up. That lets us know that that's our do loop. And we'll do this while play again dot, and there are lots of things we could do here. You notice that the first autofill is dot equals, and we can check to see if our play again response equals y for yes. But we can also say, if we scroll down just a little bit here, we can see equals ignore case. We actually want equals ignore case, and we want to equal a y here. This equals ignore case, the capitalization matters, capital I, capital C, and it's dot equals ignore case, E-Q-U-A-L-S, capital I, G-N-O-R-E, capital C, A-S-E. Equals ignore case means that the user could type a capital Y for yes, or a lowercase y for yes. And then if they don't choose y, well, if they do choose y, this do loop is going to loop back around to the top again. And they'll get a new random number. They'll guess a number between 1 and 100 and keep guessing until they get the number correct. If they don't hit Y, then we can just tell them, thank you for playing. And I'm just adding double slashes there for my comments. That's one of the ways that we can comment code in Java, // thank the user for playing. And we can say something like system.out.println, quote, thank you for playing, goodbye. That looks pretty good. So when we come back, we'll run this program and see if we can keep playing with new random numbers every time we play.